What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. A tornado outbreak is currently ongoing, unfortunately, in the state of Florida, and the worst is yet to come. As I've been warning on this platform, Hurricane Milton, which potentially could be even worse than Hurricane Helene, which just struck Florida a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Although when Helene struck, it struck the panhandle area of Florida. This is going to strike the central area of Florida. Really going to affect, I would say, the central and southern part of Florida as far as the damage is expected. But especially, I think the worst damage is expected to be between Tampa and I guess maybe the Golden Gate area from that vicinity. That's where the main part of the storm is going to be. And the biggest threat will be the storm surge, flooding. And then, of course, there's going to be especially along the coast, the western coast of Florida, strong winds, tropical storm to hurricane force winds. Now, the hurricane, as was expected, is beginning to strengthen. The problem is, it's not like this hurricane was coming in as a Cat 3 and then weakened to a Cat 1. This at one point in time was a 180 mile per hour beast, and it has weakened. Last time I checked, 145 miles per hour, which is a strong Cat 4, but it still may be a low end Cat 4, high Cat 3 when it makes landfall. If you recall, Hurricane Katrina was a Cat 3, and that is one of the most, I think it is statistically the most destructive hurricane to hit the United States. Already, there is an epic tornado outbreak going on in Florida. Those of you who are familiar with these storms, the right part of the storm, the right section of the storm, or the eastern section of the storm, is usually the worst. And that's where you often find, or usually find, most, if not all, of your tornadic activity in these feeder bands that are usually in the northeast quadrant of these storms. And that's where we're seeing them. There are tornado warnings all over the state of Florida, numerous, too many for me to even count at this time. I think there's something like, I'm just looking at this radar, I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think something like 12 or 13 simultaneous tornado warnings at this time. And a lot of these tornadoes, usually in hurricanes, you see tornadoes that are weaker on the F0, F1, maybe low end F2 range, and they usually don't last too long. But we're seeing wedge tornadoes with Milton. We don't typically see a lot of those with hurricanes or tropical systems in general, but because of the strength of the storm, we're seeing stronger than normal and even more frequent tornadic activity. And as I said, this is not the worst of it. Now, from what I've seen, they think that the landfall will probably be closer to the Sarasota area, which means that if the eye or the core of the storm does go over there, this will affect hundreds of thousands of people. But the worst case scenario would be if the eye made a direct hit on Tampa. That would affect millions of people and would be catastrophic. So, I'm going to keep abreast of this, keep looking at this. So anybody that lives in Florida, in particular on the western side of Florida, right now I'm looking at, this is 2 hours ago. This is on X, massive tornadoes from Hurricane Milton crossed Interstate 75 in the Florida Everglades, moving north between the towns of Miles City and Andytown. A tornado actually crossed over Interstate 75. Um, I'm looking at it right now. I think this was 2 hours ago. This was 25 minutes ago. There's currently 8 different tornado warnings. 7 are radar indicated, while the other one is observed by emergency management. If anyone is under these tornado warnings, I advise you to take immediate shelter in a basement or a substantial area with zero windows. 50 minutes ago, tornadoes reported in Mokosuke, Florida, I think that's what it is, with one crossing I-75 as Hurricane Milton approaches. Emergency crews are on high alert for potential outbreaks. An hour ago, tornado captured by drones south of Loretta, Florida. So there is a tornado outbreak going on right now. Another large wedge tornado observed. I don't know exactly where this is in Florida. That one. But obviously, with all this activity going on, there's a tornado watch in effect in Florida. Substantial tornado damage in Fort Myers. Roofs completely blown off homes. People now seeking alternate shelter. Orangewood Avenue. Down trees, power lines, fences. Power is out. Thankfully, no reported injuries at that time. Tornado struck at 4 a.m. So the tornadic activity started overnight in Florida. The sky lit up red, blue, green. It was humming, buzzing. I remember hearing accounts of people who survived Hurricane Hugo talk about how they saw red, green lightning. The storm was so intense. Normally you don't see a lot of lightning with hurricanes, but with these super intense ones, you tend to start seeing lightning. That's when you know that a hurricane is extremely intense. I remember when we got struck where I live at in VA, when we got struck by Hurricane Isabel in 2003 and Irene in 2011, we never saw any lightning. But with these super intense ones, you tend to see that. Just still going through a lot of this stuff. There's footage of a tornado striking Clewiston, Florida, as Hurricane Milton approaches just hours before landfall. So this is what I was warning about. Another tornado near Indian River. So, this is the thing that frustrates me when I report these videos, right? When I talk about these things, people, you get some comments, but not a lot, you know what I'm saying? But then, it's after the fact that now all of a sudden people care. People say, oh, prayers. But in reality, I think people like seeing this shit. I think people have a sick, how when people look out of their car, look out of the window or look out the window of their cars to look at car crashes or train wrecks because they say that, oh, wow, that's horrible, but they're drawn to that. They want to see the damage. They want to see the carnage. And I think people have human beings have learned to civilize. We've become so civilized to the point, at least we pretend to be civilized to the point we try to hide this almost sadistic streak that a lot of us have where we want to see damage, want to see the negativity. I mean, you can see it on social media. People are drawn to a lot of negativity, man. Like people, especially us, man, we have this dark cloud hanging around us. We just want to see the worst shit. We don't want to look at positivity. We want to look at the most negative, worst stuff, But anyway, just want to put it out there, man. I'm going to keep abreast of this. You know what I'm saying? See if they're, unfortunately, if you stayed in the areas where uh, if you stayed in the areas where they recommended that you leave, I think time is pretty much out now because most of these gas stations, I think they're tapped out. Um, and pretty much it's going to get to a point now when when conditions begin to deteriorate, the normal chain of authorities begin to break down. You're not going to be able to call the police or when this storm is raging, you're on your own. And unfortunately, as we saw with Helene, people will die. People will die. Unfortunately, that's just going to be what's going to happen, man. People are going to die. I just hope that it doesn't get as bad as it can possibly get. That's the only thing you can hope for right now. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.